A very good morning. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the headlines this Saturday morning. Prime Minister to meet Chief Ministers of 3 states to discuss drought and water crisis. This as rains bring some respite from severe heat wave in many states. Death toll in heat-related deaths in Telangana, however, rises to 249. Uttarakhand High Court to hear plea by rebel Congress MLAs against their disqualification. Supreme Court has cleared floor test while barring rebels from voting. CBI to question the 3 Tyagi brothers in the AgustaWestland case. Agency claims one of them has accepted to financial dealings with the middlemen. Government vows it will do what it could not do in the Bofors case. Nepal recalls ambassador to India over charges of non-cooperation and anti-government activities. Charged with confronting Prime Minister Oli over cancellation of President's visit to India. And history created in the UK. Sadiq Khan, son of a Pakistani bus driver, becomes the first Muslim mayor of London, marks return of Labour rule to UK capital after 8 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be meeting Chief Ministers of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Karnataka today to discuss the drought situation in their respective states. Prime Minister Modi invited the Chief Ministers for separate meetings to discuss the issue. Drought, as you know, has plagued a total of 11 states, affecting 330 million people, according to government figures. The Supreme Court has also reprimanded both the centre and the states for their reaction to tackle the crisis. The Prime Minister now plans to discuss measures for conserving and storing water during the upcoming monsoon season for the future. Union Cabinet Secretary P.K. Sinha has reviewed the drought and drinking water situation with Chief Secretaries and officials from the Departments of Drinking Water, Rural Development, Water Resources and Agriculture of 13 states, including Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra as well as Gujarat. He has directed all ministries to release funds under various schemes as soon as the finance bill got cleared by Parliament. And talking about weather, fresh showers across India brought respite to people from the sweltering heat that had gripped most parts of the country over the past few days. Unexpected showers brought some respite from scorching heat in parts of drought-hit Maharashtra. But these unseasonal showers caused heavy damages to the standing crops. More than 18 villages in Arni Tehsil in Yavatmal district of Maharashtra have been hit hard due to the unseasonal rain, and a number of houses in these villages have also been reported to be damaged. Reports of 2 deaths have also been confirmed by local authorities. Delhi, NCR, Telangana, Uttarakhand, Punjab have also been witnessing unseasonal showers for the past few days. The minimum temperature in Noida was recorded at 24 degrees Celsius on Friday. Similarly, in Hyderabad, fresh spell of rain brought down temperatures to 25 degrees Celsius from 42 degrees Celsius. However, heavy rainfall coupled with thunderstorm wreaked havoc in the city. In Haldwani in Uttarakhand, rainfall brought down the temperature to a minimum of 25 degrees Celsius. Though the showers proved a blessing for many, rain wreaked havoc for farmers in Ludhiana as sudden showers damaged the stunning wheat crop. And while rains lashed several parts of the country, heat-related deaths in Telangana have mounted. The figure now stands at 249 after reports of fresh casualties, according to the State Disaster Management Department. Meanwhile, the IMD in its weather bulletin said there is remarkable fall in maximum temperatures at a few places over Telangana. Light to moderate rain or thunder showers are very likely to occur at many places over the state in the next 5 days. Also in Odisha, that has borne the brunt of rising temperatures. The mercury came down in several parts of the state, with Talcher recording the highest temperature of 42 degrees. Though the sunstroke deaths confirmed by the state government stood at 16, the number of alleged heat-related deaths increased by 10 to 166 during the day on Friday. Collectors are still probing into 76 other cases. The family of each person dying in sunstroke will be given 50,000 rupees by the state government. The other places which recorded temperatures at or above 40 degrees were Sundargarh, Chandbali, Sambalpur and Sonipur. And news from the Uttarakhand political crisis. The State High Court will hear the plea by rebel Congress MLAs challenging their disqualification under the anti-defection law by the Speaker. This hearing comes a day after the Supreme Court cleared the floor test in the state. The Apex Court also ruled that the 9 disqualified rebel MLAs will not take part in the vote. The result of the floor test will be produced before the Apex Court on the 11th of May.
After the centre agreed to hold the floor test in Uttarakhand, the Supreme Court on Friday ruled that the vote of confidence in the Uttarakhand Assembly will take place on May 10th between 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The proceedings will be filmed and President's rule will be temporarily lifted for 2 hours when the vote of confidence will take place.
The Principal Secretary Legislature, who is a senior officer, will be present in the court. It will be his duty to ensure that voting takes place along with the Speaker's duty properly.
The Apex Court, however, barred 9 disqualified MLAs to take part in the proceedings. Challenging the top court's verdict, the disqualified MLAs moved the Uttarakhand High Court. If it rules in their favour on Saturday, they can vote on Tuesday. But if the 9 dissidents don't vote, Harish Rawat will have to prove the support of only 31 lawmakers as the strength of the 70-member House will be down to 61.
हमें पूरा भरोसा है कि हमारे विधायक गण जो है लोकतंत्र के पक्ष में देंगे, उत्तराखंड के स्वाभिमान के पक्ष में देंगे। अब लड़ाई उत्तराखंड के स्वाभिमान की है, क्योंकि भाजपा ने जिस तरीके से यहाँ के स्वाभिमान को रौंदने का काम किया है, पहले दल बदल करवा के, फिर राष्ट्रपति शासन लागू करवा करके, फिर और दल बदल की कुछ हिस्सा करके, और उसके बाद हम पर CBI थोप करके।
Other political parties, including the BJP's ally in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena, welcomed the top court's decision.
बहुमत का फैसला जो है विधानसभा हो या लोकसभा हो, किसी का भी, वो फ्लोर टेस्ट से ही होना चाहिए। वो ना राज्यपाल तय करेगा, ना सुप्रीम कोर्ट तय करेगा, ना राष्ट्रपति शासन उसका इलाज है। तो मैं स्वागत करता हूँ।
Now the central government says we are ready for floor test. Why did they not allow floor test at that point of time? Why did they go for imposing president's rule in Uttarakhand?
हमें खुशी है कि लोकतंत्र की जीत हुई है। फ्लोर टेस्ट बहुमत का मत का निर्णय लिया जाएगा और दूध का दूध और पानी का पानी होगा।
The BJP meanwhile hit out at Harish Rawat, accusing him of being involved in various wrongdoings in the state.
प्रदेश के विधायकों को ये तय करना है कि क्या उनका ऐसा मुख्यमंत्री बने जो CBI के द्वारा कटघरे में खड़े होकर किसी दिन जेल जाने वाला है, वह मुख्यमंत्री इस प्रदेश का बने। क्या मुख्यमंत्री ऐसा बने जो इस देवभूमि में, उस पुण्य भूमि में शराब माफियाओं के माध्यम से शराब खराब बंटवाता हो, लोगों की जान लेता हो, क्या ऐसा मुख्यमंत्री बने?
Uttarakhand was plunged into political uncertainty after 9 Congress legislators, including former Chief Minister Vijay Bahuguna, crossed over to the BJP. The crisis peaked on 18th of March when the Assembly passed the appropriation bill by a voice vote, even as the opposition sought recorded voting. Rawat was then asked by Governor K.K. Paul to prove his majority on 28th of March, but a day before the central government dismissed his government by imposing President's rule. Rawat immediately went to the court. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to the other big story. The CBI has called the 3 Tyagi brothers and Gautam Khaitan, the former board member of Aerometrics, for questioning in the AgustaWestland chopper deal today. According to CBI sources, the Tyagi brothers have admitted property link with former IAF chief SP Tyagi. Sanjeev Tyagi has also reportedly admitted to having financial dealings with the European middlemen in the case. The Enforcement Directorate on Friday questioned former Air Force Chief SP Tyagi for the 2nd consecutive day. He was questioned in the same case by CBI for 3 days earlier this week. And during the discussion on the AgustaWestland issue in Lok Sabha yesterday, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar informed the House that many changes were made in the tender, especially to favour the company. He also assured that any person found guilty.
The AgustaWestland issue was discussed in Lok Sabha on Friday during the calling attention motion. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar told the House that many changes were made in the tender to favour the company. He also said that the trial of the chopper was done outside India.
AgustaWestland को order जाने के लिए सब चीजें की गई, उसके एस्टिमेटेड जेन्युइन कॉस्ट के मोर देन ट्वाइस रेट में उनको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया गया। उसके लिए जो कुछ रिलैक्स करना था वो रिलैक्स किया गया।
The defense minister also accused the previous UPA government of taking delayed action after allegations of corruption first surfaced in Italy in February 2012. He further added that the CBI registered a case in March 2013, but the Enforcement Directorate was not provided a copy of the FIR till December 2013.
आगे पीछे फाइल चलती रही। फाइनली 12 मई को 2A एंड हो जाता है, जब एक दिन में 12 पेज का नोट लगा के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर फाइनली अप्रूव्ड टू कीप ऑन होल्ड, which he could have done in February 2012.
Earlier, Congress MP Jyotiraditya Scindia alleged that the NDA government has not blacklisted Finmeccanica yet. Congress members also demanded a Supreme Court monitored probe into the scam, while TMC member Saugata Rai asked why no action had been taken so far.
अगस्टा वेस्टलैंड ने RFI अपने तरफ से डाला है। अगर वो ब्लैक लिस्टेड कंपनी है तो कैसे इन्होंने अलाउ किया? मैं प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूं, नेवल यूटिलिटी हेलीकॉप्टर में RFI की प्रस्ताव अगस्टा वेस्टलैंड की तरफ से कैसे डाला गया?
सुप्रीम कोर्ट मॉनिटर्ड इंक्वायरी होने दो, और अगर वो तैयार है हम फेस करने को तैयार है।
Now, what action have you taken in the 1.5 years? You're shouting from the housetop against corruption. Tell us specific instances of what action CBI is under your government.
In reply, Parakar assured the House that all deals with Finmeccanica are currently on hold. The government has only furthered those contracts which were necessary for India's defence needs. Later, the Congress staged a walkout after not getting any assurance of a Supreme Court monitored probe. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And speaking for the first time on the AgustaWestland issue, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a jibe at Congress President Sonia Gandhi by raking up her Italian roots and saying no matter how big a person is, action will be taken against them. Addressing a poll rally in Tamil Nadu, Modi dubbed the AgustaWestland deal a theft. The Prime Minister said the Italian court has said in its ruling that the UPA government had accepted bribes in the deal. Modi said he was being attacked by the Congress since he has tightened the screws on corruption. Modi's attack against Sonia came hours after the Congress president in New Delhi accused his government of murdering democracy and unleashing a campaign of baseless allegations against the Congress. Modi further attacked the Congress by referring to alleged irregularities in 2D spectrum allocation as well as coal allocation. Modi said his government had taken so many steps to curb corruption that the corrupt are now nervous.
मेरा रिश्तेदार इटली में रहता है, नहीं रहता है ना? अब वहां की कोर्ट ने कहा कि हिंदुस्तान की पिछली सरकार में कुछ लोगों ने पैसे खाए हैं, तो यहाँ हमें क्या परेशान कर रहे हो भाई? हेलीकॉप्टर में चोरी करने वालों को सजा होनी चाहिए कि नहीं? सजा होनी चाहिए कि नहीं? कानूनन कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए कि नहीं? कितना ही बड़ा क्यों न हो, सजा होनी चाहिए कि नहीं होनी चाहिए?
It was an eventful day in the national capital yesterday. Both the Congress and the BJP took out protests against each other, while the Congress took to the streets, courting detention during their Save Democracy rally. The BJP MPs protested inside Parliament in front of the Gandhi statue. Take a look at this report. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Congress President Sonia Gandhi and Vice President Rahul Gandhi courting arrest at the Parliament Street Police Station in New Delhi. This was after they were disallowed from leading a rally inside Parliament to protest what the Congress called an attack on democracy by the Narendra Modi government. Earlier in the day, hundreds of party workers and leaders assembled at Jantar Mantar, chanting slogans against the government. Congress President Sonia Gandhi warned the government of acting against democratic institutions and trying to scare the opposition.
पिछले 60-70 साल में कांग्रेस ने लोकतंत्र को मजबूती देने वाले संस्थानों का निर्माण किया, लेकिन 2 साल में ही मोदी सरकार ने सब कुछ बर्बाद करना शुरू कर दिया। इनका एक-एक कदम लोकतंत्र की जड़ें खोद रहा है।
Rahul Gandhi also accused the government of specifically targeting opponents of Narendra Modi and the RSS.
आज हिंदुस्तान में सिर्फ दो लोगों की बात चलती है, मोहन भगवत जी और नरेंद्र मोदी जी। और जो भी इनके खिलाफ खड़ा होता है, जो भी इनके खिलाफ बोलने की कोशिश करता है, उनके ऊपर झूठे आक्रमण, झूठे आरोप लगाए जाते हैं।
The BJP termed the rally an attempt to divert public attention from the AgustaWestland chopper scam. In a bid to counter the march of the Congress, MPs of the National Democratic Alliance held a protest in front of the Gandhi statue in Parliament.
They want to divert the attention from the Augusta scam. That's why they have taken up this issue. Otherwise, there is no reason. And they are making allegations against us that we are diverting the attention. Augusta scam is a major scandal taken place during the Congress regime. And our government is committed to take it to logical conclusions. Why should the Congress party worried and rattled and then trying to make unnecessary allegations against the government?
कांग्रेस को लगता है कि वो इन्वॉल्व नहीं है या उनके कोई भी नेता इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि उनको किसी भी तरीके की चिंता करने की जरूरत है या लोकतंत्र बचाओ करके जो ये लोग मार्च आज कर रहे हैं वो करने की जरूरत है।
Allegations and counter-allegations have been flying thick and high, both inside and outside Parliament, on the multi-crore VVIP chopper deal. While the BJP is convinced of the involvement of the top brass of the Congress, the opposition claims it's a desperate attempt by the ruling dispensation to malign its leaders. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And time for a very short break here on Breakfast News. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. You're watching Constitutionally Yours.
It should be absolutely reasonable. It has to be under scrutiny. Of course, it has to be adequate.
हमारे यहाँ तकरीबन 10 साल से कुछ सैलरी अलाउंसेस में बढ़ोतरी नहीं हुए.
There are no manageable standards of finding out the performance.
What should be the scope of judicial review?
Only political questions are kept out of the judicial review.
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha Television.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back. The punitive action taken against JNU students, including JNU-SU Chief Kanhaiya Kumar, that led him to sit on a hunger strike, reached the president's doorstep yesterday. Some opposition party MPs are seeking his intervention in resolving the crisis and restoring normalcy in the varsity. A delegation of MPs from various parties, including the left and the Congress, met President Pranab Mukherjee and asked him to withdraw forthwith all actions taken against students by JNU authorities pending judicial outcome. The MPs told Mukherjee that the current crisis over disciplinary action by the Vice-Chancellor has done a lot of damage to the varsity. They said it is unprecedented that the Vice-Chancellor should take such strong action against the students on the basis of so-called evidence, which is a sub judice matter. The leaders also said the varsity proceeded to punish the students despite the so-called evidence being contradicted by Delhi government mandated. In fact, the Delhi government mandated magisterial inquiry, which concluded that the visual evidence electronically recorded was doctored. The students are protesting against punishment given to some of them in connection with the event, during which anti-national slogans were allegedly raised.
I urge upon the ministry to advise the authorities to reconsider their action so that students get out of this turmoil.
And news from the other university of Jadavpur, which was on the boil on Friday evening. Sections of students clashed with each other over the screening of Vivek Agnihotri's film Buddha in a traffic jam. Students of the left wing protested against the screening, unhappy with the film's portrayal of nationalism. Now, this led to clashes between them and the organizers, the ABVP. Things got worse when BJP leader Rupa Ganguly, along with hundreds of party workers, gathered at the Varsity Gate and demanded that 4 ABVP workers detained by the left-wing students be handed over to them. Few members of the ABVP were confined by protesting students inside the campus for allegedly molesting girl students. The BJP claimed its workers were wrongly being framed. Though they were released later and handed over to the police, action against the alleged molesters has not been initiated yet.
एक पिक्चर दिखाने के लिए ये सारे देश में जो माहौल बन रहे हैं वो बहुत खतरनाक हो रहा है और इस खतरनाक के खिलाफ सारा देश में हमारा जितना ताकत है कई घंटा लगेगा। ये जो उड़ना चाहते हैं ना इसको रेस्ट्रिक्ट करने के लिए हमारा कोई घंटा लगेगा। हम लोग गणतांत्रिक पद्धति में जाना चाहते हैं, डेमोक्रेटिक वे में जाना चाहते हैं, इसलिए इसका साथ तालमेल करके काम करना चाहते हैं।
Thousands of BJP workers, thousands of RSS workers came outside the gate of Jadavpur gate number 1 and constantly shouted slogans that Jadavpurians are actually Pakistanis, they are terrorists and they need to be annihilated. This was the content of what they shouted there. So at that point of time, we felt that those whom we had identified, they cannot be handed over to this mob.
And at least 3 terrorists are reported to have been killed in an encounter with security forces in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. Search and rescue operations are underway to look for more infiltrators suspected to be hiding in that area. The latest encounter comes just hours after an army man was killed along the line of control in Kupwara district while trying to stop an infiltration bid. Attempts by terrorists to infiltrate on this side of the border has begun as snow in the higher reaches has begun to melt, giving them an easy passage. Campaigning for the assembly polls in Tamil Nadu, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi will address several election rallies across the state today. Rahul will kickstart the election campaign in the state by addressing a rally in Madurai. The Congress Vice President will address another rally in Coimbatore. He will then address people at Tiruvallur district in support of the DMK Congress MDMK alliance. Tamil Nadu heads for the assembly elections on the 16th of May, results for which will be declared on the 19th of May. And news from the neighbouring state of Nepal. Nepal has recalled its ambassador to India over charges of non-cooperation and indulging in anti-government activities. PTI is quoting Nepalese foreign ministry sources and saying that Ambassador Deep Kumar Upadhyay had confronted with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli regarding the cancellation of President Vidya Devi Bhandari's scheduled visit to India. Bhandari was scheduled to visit India from the 9th of May as the state guest at the invitation of President Pranab Mukherjee. She was also scheduled to participate in a Shahi Snan in Ujjain Simhas Kum on the 14th of May. Upadhyay, a leader of opposition Nepali Congress, has also been accused of visiting Madhesi districts of southern Nepal along with Indian envoy Ranjit Rai without informing the foreign ministry. The Nepalese diplomat has been also charged with involvement in toppling the Oli government. Prime Minister Oli survived a threat to his government after a U-turn by Prachanda-led Maoists who decided not to withdraw support to him for the time being. And London became the first mayor Western capital to elect a Muslim mayor as Labour claimed victory for its candidate Sadiq Khan despite setbacks elsewhere in Britain for the main national opposition party. Labour Party candidate Sadiq Khan received more than 1.3 million votes, 57% of the total, to Conservative rival Zach Goldsmith's 43%, after voters' first and second preferences were allocated. Turnout was a relatively high 45.6%, up from 38% in 2012. His win is seen as the most dramatic one in local and regional elections, which has produced few big changes but underscored Britain's political divisions ahead of a referendum on whether to remain in the European Union. Khan hailed his victory as the triumph of hope over fear and unity over division. The race to replace the charismatic Conservative Boris Johnson pitched Khan, the son of a bus driver and a seamstress who emigrated from Pakistan in the 1960s, against Goldsmith, whose father was a wealthy tycoon.
Thank you, London. London is the greatest city in the world. I'm so proud of our city. I'm deeply humbled by the hope and trust you have placed in me today. I never dreamt that someone like me could be elected as Mayor of London. And I want to say thank you to every single Londoner for making the impossible possible today.
And moving on to Canada, Canada's government sent trucks and helicopters on Friday to safely remove thousands of evacuees stranded north of a wildfire that ravaged nearly 250,000 acres around the Canadian oil town of Fort McMurray, Alberta. The out-of-control wildfire that has consumed 210,000 acres has forced 88,000 people to evacuate and threatened 2 oil sand sites south of the city. While the main fire has turned southeast, away from the town, parts of Fort McMurray were still burning. Some 25,000 evacuees were forced to flee north as the blaze closed off their only route southwards. About 8,000 people will be airlifted out, officials said, but most are expected to drive south with police escorts once officials determine the highway is safe to drive. Now, although the cause of the fire is still not known, tinder, dry brush, low humidity and hot gusting winds have made it nearly impossible to control the fire.
Government has met all of the Alberta government's requests for assistance, including providing air assets and 7,000 cots for evacuees in emergency shelters, with 13,000 more on the way. We continue to monitor the situation closely, with high temperatures and shifting winds changing rapidly, and we continue to urge caution to all evacuees.
And on to sports news now. Top seeds Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis have entered the doubles final of the Madrid Open tennis tournament. In a lopsided semi-final in Madrid, the Indo-Swiss duo recorded a crushing 6-2, 6-0 win over unseeded American-Russian combiner Vanya King and Ala Kudryavtseva. Sania and Hingis will now challenge 5th seeds Caroline Garcia and Kristina Mladenovic for the title. Carolina and Kristina ousted 8th seeds Elena Vesnina and Katrina Makarova 6-2, 6-3 in the other semi-final. And look now at some other sporting action in SportsBeat. Cameroon midfielder Patrick Ekeng has died aged 26 of a suspected heart attack after collapsing on the pitch. Ekeng fell to the field in the 70th minute of a televised Romanian league match between Dinamo and Viitorul. He was pronounced dead in hospital 2 hours later. The Cameroonian FA confirmed the news on Twitter. Ekeng had also previously played for Le Mans and Lausanne. Novak Djokovic continued his dominance over Canadian Milos Raonic as he secured a victory to progress to the Madrid Open semi-finals. Djokovic has now beaten Raonic 7 times in a row, and the world number 1 never looked like relinquishing the lead against the big-serving Raonic. Djokovic will now face Japan's Kei Nishikori in the semi-final after Nishikori defeated Nick Kyrgios earlier on Friday. Bayern Munich boss Pep Guardiola says a dressing room mole is damaging the 25-time German champions after details of an alleged row were made public. German newspaper Bild claims Guardiola was angry with Bayern's medical team after Tuesday's Champions League semi-final exit to Atletico Madrid. The Spaniard is alleged to have accused his physiotherapist of taking too long to get his players fit after injury. Former Barcelona boss is leaving Bayern in the summer to take over at Manchester City. And that's all we have for you in this bulletin. Thanks for your